Melinda French Gates, is trending, and it's not just because of her last name. This week, Melinda released a raw, honest, and deeply personal memoir that has people across the world pausing, reflecting, and applauding. It's called The Next Day, and in it, she opens up like never before. But why now? Why is Melinda, who spent decades mostly behind the scenes of one of the most powerful philanthropic empires, suddenly making headlines across every platform? Let's dive into the story behind the trend, one of heartbreak, healing, and a billion-dollar mission to change the world. Titled The Next Day, Melinda's memoir doesn't hold back. She talks about the emotional roller coaster that followed her 2021 divorce from Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates after 27 years of marriage. She describes the breakup as painful and even admits to suffering panic attacks during the process. For someone who's always been composed in the public eye, this level of vulnerability is a powerful shift. She writes not just about what happened, but how it felt, the silence, the loneliness, the pressure of being a public figure in private pain. And for many women, that resonates deeply. Melinda is now 60, and she says she's never felt more at peace or more powerful. In her memoir and interviews, she talks about shedding the need for external validation. She admits she struggled with imposter syndrome for years, despite running one of the largest charitable foundations in history. She even opens up about a toxic relationship from her college years that left her with lasting body image issues, something many women silently carry well into adulthood. But now, she's done hiding. She's aging gracefully, confidently, and unapologetically. After stepping down from the Gates Foundation, Melinda could have retired quietly, never needing to work again. But instead, she launched her own organization, Pivotal, and she's putting her money where her heart is. She's committing $1 billion to causes focused on women's health, reproductive rights, and gender equality, especially in the United States, where these issues are under intense political fire. This isn't charity. It's strategy. Melinda is building long-term infrastructure to protect women's rights for generations. So why is she trending? Because Melinda French Gates is stepping out of the shadows and into the spotlight on her own terms. Her story isn't just about a divorce or a foundation. It's about reclaiming identity, about starting over, about using privilege for purpose. And in a world that still too often sidelines older women, Melinda's voice is a reminder. The next chapter can be the most powerful one. She doesn't scream or demand attention. She commands it by being radically honest. In a media environment often dominated by drama, scandal, or performative activism, Melinda's tone is reflective, measured, and deeply human. Her message is that reinvention doesn't have to be loud to be revolutionary, that healing isn't linear, and that even with billions at your disposal, emotional pain doesn't discriminate. That's the real reason people are listening. Because behind the headlines, there's a woman many can finally relate to, not because she's perfect, but because she's real. Thought leaders, policymakers, and tech insiders are watching what Melinda does next. Her strategic philanthropy model, rooted in listening to grassroots organizers, funding long-term systems change, and prioritizing underserved communities, is challenging old-school models of top-down giving. She's not just throwing money at problems. She's asking hard questions, building coalitions, and investing in solutions that might not go viral, but will change lives. It's a kind of influence that doesn't always trend on Twitter, but echoes in courtrooms, classrooms, and clinics for years to come. It's a reminder that women can rewrite their narratives at any age, that strength looks different on everyone, and that the most powerful stories aren't always the loudest. They're the ones told with quiet conviction, purpose, and a vision for something better. Whether you see her as a philanthropist, a feminist, or simply a woman finding her way through heartbreak, Melinda French Gates is reminding all of us, it's never too late to begin again. In a year where women's rights in the U.S. are under political assault, and where global conflicts continue to disproportionately impact women and children, Melinda's billion-dollar pledge feels like a strategic move, not just a personal one. She's stepping into a leadership vacuum, especially in the philanthropic space, where women-led initiatives are often underfunded and overlooked. Her voice is not just that of a donor, it's that of a change maker saying, "This matters, and I won't wait around for permission." Clips from her interviews have gone viral, especially the ones where she talks about rebuilding her self-worth after decades of being seen primarily as Bill Gates' wife. Younger audiences on TikTok and Instagram are stitching her soundbites with captions like "Healing Era Unlocked" and "Soft Power Queen." It's clear, this isn't just a corporate leader with a press tour. Melinda has tapped into something deeper, a generational craving for authenticity, especially from women in power. She spent decades championing education for girls, maternal health, family planning, and vaccine access. But what's new is how personal her message has become. In her memoir, she doesn't just talk policy, she talks about mornings when she couldn't get out of bed, about guilt, about therapy. This shift from private problem solver to public storyteller is exactly why people are paying attention now. Because stories move people in a way that numbers and graphs never will. It's an act of reclamation. She's choosing visibility, choosing impact, choosing to be the architect of her own legacy, not just a footnote in someone else's. Whether she's investing in reproductive rights, mentoring young women, or simply telling the truth about what it takes to start over, Melinda French Gates is no longer just building foundations. She's building movements. It's not about the past, not about the drama, not even about the divorce. It's about what happens after. That quiet moment when you wake up and realize your old life is gone. Now what? For many, that's terrifying. But Melinda reframes it as empowering. She's inviting readers, especially women, to stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What can I do with this?" That subtle shift in perspective is where her story really shines. Some say it's easy to reinvent yourself when you have billions. And sure, Melinda's privilege can't be ignored. But what makes her story resonate isn't the money, it's the mindset. Because whether you're leaving a marriage, a job, or an old version of yourself behind, the fear is the same. The uncertainty is real. And her story reminds us that no amount of status can shield you from pain, but it can be used, if you choose, to create something better for others.